Good evening, friends. Hello, hello. Today we're going to have live discussing the most interesting recent immigration news with me, attorney Alina Sheltsova, immigration lawyer from New York. Thank you very much for joining. Please like and share the show. Let me know where you're watching from. Today we're going to be discussing some very important immigration updates. We will be talking about a new or rather old, again introduced bill by the Democrats that intends to provide status to dreamers and TPS holders. We're going to also talk about Florida situation. If you're in Florida or you're planning on going to Florida, this update is extremely important for you. So please join me. And of course, in the end, I will be answering your guys' questions. So don't be shy, say hello, let me know where you're watching from. And of course, please type up your questions so that I can read them after I'm done updating you on this most important developments. And maybe I will help you out a little bit during these trying times. So the first thing I wanted to discuss with you, of course, concerns Florida situation. Well, this is not the Florida thing. Hold on. Florida situation is right here. Florida sheriffs signed agreement with ICE, and now they're deputized to be ICE officers pretty much. But what does it really mean? What it means for you if you visiting Florida or if you are in Florida? Well, it means, at least how it's supposed to be according to this arrangement, is that if local law enforcement, the police, for some reason has contact with you and finds out that you do not have immigration status, you are in violation of your status. You have an order of removal, but you did not depart and the United States government did not authorize you stay in the United States. You entered the United States without inspection. Or perhaps there are some other violations of federal immigration laws. They may now perform as ICE officers and detain you, arrest you, and facilitate those removal proceedings further. So that's what it's supposed to mean. And of course, it's extremely troublesome because lots of immigrants reside in Florida. And Florida has been putting forward this sort of anti-immigrant moves for a while now. And now there is this full cooperation agreement with ICE, which of course makes it much easier for the local law enforcement to get involved. And now, if ICE forces is limited to, let's say, 100 agents, 200 agents, well, this force, the local police force, is sort of unlimited. And the chances are that certain people will get affected by these agreements. As always, you have to know immigration laws, you have to know your rights. You know that there is a Fourth Amendment right, Fifth Amendment right, constitutional right that is covering not only citizens but non-citizens in the United States as well. And if you believe you may be affected by this huge change, please consult with an immigration attorney. Okay. In certain states like New York, New Jersey, there are no agreements of that sort between the local law enforcement and ICE. However, in New York, Mayor Adams stated that local law enforcement is not going to interfere when ICE is performing the enforcement operations. In New Jersey, I don't have any specific information as to how local law enforcement is going to treat ICE enforcement, but it's different, nevertheless, than to have a direct agreement with ICE, all right, like they just signed in Florida. Now, a very important update relates to this new old bill. This bill is not per se new. It was reintroduced previously, and now it's reintroduced again. Dream and Promise Act 2025 that is going to be helpful if, of course, it passes and if Trump signs it. It's going to be helpful to certain people who entered the United States when they were 18 or younger and resided in the United States as of January 1st, 2021, continuously, or they are in DACA status. This bill is going to give them cancellation of removal type of situation for 10 years. It's called conditional green card. It will cancel their removal, they call it. So it's like affirmative cancellation of removal. Usually, what we call cancellation of removal can be filed only in courts, but this legislation will help people to file for it without the courts, but directly with USCIS. Bill states that the application fee will be $495. And it outlines certain qualifications which are not too hard to meet for the most people. The main big thing there is not to be inadmissible for criminal grounds, on criminal grounds, but it also says, this bill says that there will be waivers available. And if there is a denial, you will have an opportunity to have the denial reviewed. Once you meet certain conditions, after your conditional application is granted, you will be able to file to remove the conditions. And once you accumulate enough time in permanent resident status, you will be filed for citizenship. So this bill opens up pathways to citizenship for people. Again, those who entered the United States when they were 18 or younger and resided continuously from January 1st, 2021, or they have DACA status. There is a second category of people who may benefit from this bill. TPS holders, those who qualified for TPS, not necessarily had TPS, as of January 1st, 2017. And within 3 years from the adoption of this bill, they will file for this conditional resident status. So overall, it's not a terrible proposal. It's not broad enough for opposing side to be super against it. Actually, Republicans at some point were introducing something similar. This bill is completely sponsored by Democrats, but it's a good conversation opener. And finally, Democrats started pushing back because they haven't. With the Lake and Riley Act, they have not. You need to also know something very important, that currently, I believe there is a discussion about the litigation that would make it a deportable offense if somebody is convicted of domestic violence or sexual offense. Okay. And it's a big thing because what domestic violence is that it's not a specific crime of domestic violence. You can be convicted of domestic violence if you're convicted of something like harassment, for example, or assault, but the victim is related to you through domestic partnership relationship or through family relationship. So it's rather like categorical analysis situation here when we speak about domestic violence. So it's very broad. And according to my information, Democrats finally started pushing back against such proposals by the Republicans, which is a good sign because they haven't done anything meaningful with Lake and Raleigh Act, and now it created a huge, complete, gigantic mess as it relates to immigration. All right. And now, guys, if you have questions, I'll be very happy to answer them as much as I can. I will help you out answering questions for free. So say hello. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for your gifts very much. If you're watching me on TikTok, thank you, Abdullah. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Naveed. Hi, 559. My I-360 SITch petition is approved and my asylum is pending. I got first DUI. Ooh, all right. You got a DUI with some sort of a content of alcohol in your blood. What's your question? Is the question, are you going to be inadmissible or not? Which is going through in courts, and I have ICE check-in date. Oh, I see. All right, in March. So bring your lawyer with you. If your I-360 is approved, most likely you have deferred action granted, but it can be revoked. Okay. So usually DUI is not an offense, at least not in New York, that will present a problem for your immigration currently. However, there was a bill introduced. There were rumors about litigation to make DUI related offenses deportable offenses. So you have to be careful. I know that you're working with criminal defense attorney, it seems, and make sure that they will try their best to negotiate some sort of a good plea deal for you. Criminal defense attorneys must consult with the immigration lawyers prior to advising you which plea to take. Remember that, because you would like to avoid possibly a plea that would result in immigration issues for you. Okay. Because SITch status is a great status, but there are no waivers for criminal offenses, certain criminal offenses, even though, as I said, DUI by itself currently does not present a problem unless it's an aggravated DUI. Okay. Can we apply, hi Nepali, can we apply second I-130 for the same person? Yes, you can. And sometimes you even can request recapturing of the priority date, but under certain conditions, right? Hi Samba, what does it mean asylum case change from interview pending to application pending without interview? I do not know. I guess the interview is not going to take place. That's what happened? I mean, where did you get that update? Where did you get that update? Let me know. Hey, natural vibes. My SITch I-360 approved from last month, but I live in the United States less than 2 years. Can I be deported? Unlikely. When SITch application is approved, it means that you got deferred action, so you are authorized by the federal government status in the United States. Okay. Hi. Democrats just want new voters in their favor. Everybody wants that. Of course they want. But the question is, are they going to finally do something? You know? Of course they want. That's normal to want something. Question is, are they going to do something meaningful for immigrants or not? Because they can if they want to. But it seems like they're very, very passive this time around. I'm not sure what the deal is, but it's been disappointing, I have to tell you that. Hi, Grace Dime. My asylum case with my ex was dismissed on prosecutorial discretion. Right, I am married right now. I guess I'm married to a U.S. citizen, and my husband want to file for me. Okay. Do you think the asylum dismissal can be a problem? Nah, you'll be fine. Why would it be a problem? It's good. It's good that it was dismissed. Now you are free to adjust before USCIS if you have a legal entry, right? So let's see. Hi, Mariana. How to speed up for my 751 petition to remove conditions filed in 2022, 5-year marriage. File for citizenship and 400 form, and then they will schedule an interview for both I-751 and N400 for you guys. Okay. Hi, Abdullah. Is it still safe to use advanced parole adjustment of status to travel internationally under this administration? I think so. It's only not safe if two things may happen. Well, I hope they will not happen. Thing number one, there is a criminal charge against you. Then do not travel. Thing number two, your adjustment of status application form I-45 gets denied while you're traveling. Then they're not going to allow you in. Okay. So those are the two situations when you will be not safe traveling on advanced parole. Okay. Hi, I'm a US citizen, applied for I-130 November 6, 2023, still waiting. Wow, that's kind of a long time. Not sure why such a long time you're waiting, unless your fiancé is from Yemen. Okay, I always say it. Or the person had an immigration situation previously. Usually that would be the two issues. All right. If you've applied for your spouse, if you applied for a different relative. I'm not going to be surprised, right? What's the age limit for DACA applicant? I'm 48 years old. The way it works for DACA is that you were supposed to meet certain age requirements at the time when the DACA was passed. So I'm not sure if at that time you qualified for it. Now new applications can be filed but cannot be adjudicated, right? So if you never had DACA, excuse me, it's pretty much useless, unfortunately. All right. How to speed up the form? That's we have that. Can I renew my TPS from Afghanistan? I do not know. Maybe if the TPS will be extended for Afghanistan, you will be able to, right? We do not know what's going to happen. Lots of different things are happening with the United States immigration every single week. Every single week. Today, there is a crazy thing happened between President Trump and President Zelensky. I posted a video about that, and many of you watched that video. And I feel bad for Ukrainians because this is like a terrible, terrible situation for them to begin with. Can I renew my TPS from Venezuela? I think they ended that. All right. I think if for people from Haiti, they shortened the TPS. If I'm not mistaken, for people from Venezuela, TPS is expiring on April 7th, 2025. You can verify that information on USCIS website. So for those of you who are losing your TPS status, you need to urgently consult with an attorney to see if you have any way to stay in the United States legally. Asylum perhaps would be a choice for many, adjustment of status for some, U visa for even smaller group of people with C visa. Those usually would be the choices. Now, if you find an employer who is willing to sponsor you, it's going to take some time to go through the process, and you may have to depart and be outside of the United States to finalize the process, but it may be a possibility for you. Okay. Guys, don't forget to share the stream, and don't forget to join my social media family so that we can meet again and not just encounter ourselves once online. Hi, Shanti. My asylum case is administratively closed in 2023. I came to the United States legally, so am I safe from deportation? If you don't have status, no. They can still restart the proceedings and file a new notice to appear. Okay, if you don't have status in the United States. Hi, Chem, can I travel back to my home country after getting green cards through marriage and withdrew my asylum case? If I were you, I wouldn't do it with this administration. Since you filed your asylum case, it's always in the system. When you filed your asylum case, you indicated that under no circumstances you're going to be returning back there, unless the country conditions improve significantly. Okay? But generally speaking, you should not be returning back there unless you have a very compelling reason to do so, and unless the country conditions changed. What's the age limit for DACA applicants? Oh, yes, I answered that. All right. I'm a US citizen. Yes, lots of 30 questions. I-730 processing time. I applied in August 2022. Hi. Pravir, I do not know why your I-730 is pending for such a long time. In my office, we never had a case that's been pending for more, I think, than 6 to maybe 8 months, but 6 months. So I do not know what's going on. It may relate to security checks. It may relate to certain countries. But as I said, in my office, those applications we have a very good experience with them. They're usually getting approved pretty fast. And it's not necessarily that if you change the lawyer, it's going to help you. I just do not know your circumstances. I did hear that sometimes it happens that people are waiting for a very, very long time for their I-730s to be approved. Why don't you maybe consult with a congressman, reach out to your congressman, and perhaps they will be able to speed up your case somehow, right? Oh. Can I travel with Can I travel with 10-year green card, no criminal convictions or arrests? Of course, you can travel. Just make sure that you do not spend more than 6 months outside of the United States. And if you believe that there is a chance, a little chance, that you may get stuck overseas, please apply for reentry permit. Okay. Can I still travel in the United States with DACA? Yes, you can. DACA, it means you're authorized to stay in the United States. You have deferred action. If a person is detained and is under medical treatment, are they allowed to take their medication? Well, their medication, no. But what happens is that the jail has to prescribe them and provide medication to them. That's how it works. Maybe there is a procedure, but to date, I really do not know if you have to take your specific medication. Then I think you will have to have a prescription, and they will have to make sure that that medication is in fact authorized and it's legit medication and not some sort of a medication that was bought somewhere, not in a pharmacy. For that reason, usually the jails, they provide their medication according to your needs, okay? Because they're afraid if they administer something that is not legit. It's tough. Listen, jails are no fun. They're bad places. And what some of you may not know and may find surprising about jails in the United States is that you can work. Sometimes you're required to while you're in jail. Do you know how much you get paid there? It's not the minimum wage. It's like up to $1 per hour or day. It's something laughable. Like you can work all day and make only $5. All right, and it's legal under the current laws, regulations. It's legal. So jails want you because you provide pretty much free labor, right? When you're there, and it's scary places, guys. Even though United States jails are better than some countries' jails, but it's still not the place to be. I mean, come on. All right. Can undocumented immigrant still travel to another state by air? Well, technically, currently, yes. However, you will run a greater risk during your interstate travels because, especially in airports, there are CBP agents who may ask you for proof of your status in the United States. And upon discovering that you do not have such a status, they may enforce the immigration laws, right? So, what is the need for you to travel? Like knowing that information, do you want to accept that risk? I do not know, all right? I do not know. Is it okay to travel outside the United States with deportation record 20 years ago working on B2 visa but US citizen now? If you're a US citizen, you can travel anywhere you want. You're fine. All right? You're totally fine. Okay? All right. Ma'am, why are Ford taking longer and longer? Mine is getting longer because there are more and more applications, and the government works slower and slower. That's what it is. Is it safe to travel internationally on a 10-year green card? Hi, Mr. Khan. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, it's safe. You should be fine as long as I stated many times, you don't have criminal convictions, you don't have child support that you do not pay, you don't have, you also you're not going to be absent from the United States for more than 6 months. Okay. Right. Let me see. I'm a US citizen. I filed my K1 visa while my fiancé was in America. Is it a problem? Where your fiancé is now? Where the person is now? You submitted K1 while they're in the United States. How did they enter the United States? So if the government, I mean, K1 is sort of dual intent. I'm not sure what the situation was for you guys. I would say it shouldn't be a problem if the person departed the United States and will go through the process. But I would probably need a little bit more information to be able to advise you better. All right. If any of you guys would like to have a confidential consultation, please reach out to my office Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., 917-885-2261, or book your appointment online at shaltsova.com. All right, if that's what you want, if you need that confidential information, because as I say all the time, do not share confidential information online, because we're not the only people involved in this process, me and you. There are other people who are reading and listening. If someone wants to file for a T visa, do they still need to register? Well, if they haven't filed yet, according to the announcement, they will have to register, right? Only people who actually file for benefits and have registered already do not need to register. That's what the announcement stated. Now, provided that within the time for the registration you file for the benefit, then I guess you are registering, okay? So that's how it's supposed to work. And we're going to find out more as the time comes. You know that the registry is not opened yet. The government stated that you need to go and open an account with USCIS, register an account, but it's not the registry. Registry is going to be announced later. The registration, I did have a video about that, but it's a requirement. It's been in the law since 1994, if I'm not mistaken. A different issue is that it's never been truly enforced, apart from enforcement of registration for citizens of certain Muslim countries after 9/11. There was a thing like this in America, and eventually it got phased out. But now this new registration comes with a threat of criminal charges if you fail to register, if you had to register. All right, and this is a serious thing, because obviously what happens is this: if you are in the United States without authorization, by itself is not a crime, but failure to register is a crime. So you will become criminal technically. All right, that's what's going to happen if you fail to register. And you need to check, consult with an attorney if you need to register, if you're in one of those groups of people who must register. Right now, I'm going to tell you, generally speaking, that who has to register? People who entered without inspection and never filed for any benefits, and were never fingerprinted, never filed for benefits, were never in proceedings, like removal proceedings. People from Canada who entered the United States through land point of entry, not by air, by land. Why? Because there are no stamps in their passports. That's why. Nobody knows if they entered, they didn't enter, where they're at. That's why. So 1, 2, people who, like kids, who were, when they were filing for benefits, they did not have to be fingerprinted or registered because they were included in parents' passports. And now when they reach 14th birthday, within 30 days, they have to register, all right? And the guardians or parents of those kids must arrange for the registration. So 1, 2, there was a third group of people. I forgot, I'll be honest. Well, if you have questions about this, ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions about the registration. Who doesn't need to register? If you came on a visa and you had Form I-94, you registered already, okay? Even though you overstayed your visa. If you are in removal proceedings, you don't need to register on a visa in removal proceedings. If you applied for sort of any kind of benefits and you were fingerprinted, you don't need to register. That's the third group of people that stated that if you're an applicant for TPS or DACA, but you didn't have to do the fingerprints, you have to register. I have no idea why they singled out this specific group of applicants, because there are other people who applied for something and didn't have to be fingerprinted. But who knows? And I'm sure that there will be some questions and answers published later about this registration process, and we're going to have more information about that. Okay. Hi, Mario. Do you think the visa bulletin is moving this month? I have no idea, guys. I do not know. I can never predict what's going to happen with the visa bulletin. I'm sorry. I wish I had this knowledge. Hi, Roman. I applied for affirmative asylum in October 2015. Do you know if I should expect my interview soon? Roman, I would think that you should. The logic tells me that you should because people who filed in 2016 and 17 were already called. But unfortunately, there are some cases that got stuck, like yours from 2015, and haven't been called. But I'm sure it's going to come very soon for you. What is the bill? The name of the bill? Dream and Promise Act. That's the name of the bill. Dream and Promise Act. All right. Hi, Kelsey. Is it safe to travel domestically with a passport from a country of origin? I cannot tell you guys that it's safe anymore. Travel by plane is less safe than travel by car, but it's also so very relative. If you're going to travel to Florida and you're stopped for a regular traffic violation in Florida, you may be referred to ICE pretty quickly. So how can I really say that it's safe? It's very unfortunate. I publish every now and then announcements, news clips about people who get arrested. They're not arresting just people with criminal records. They're arresting pretty much anyone who they encounter who is in violation of that visa status, or people who already have orders of removal from a long time ago and never departed, right? So unfortunately, I can't tell you that it's safe. Is it possible? Yes. Do they really check your status right now in the airports? No. But there is a small chance that if something happens and they do check for whatever reason, random check, whatever reason, and they discover that you have only passport of your country, chances are they may create a problem for you. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for your questions tonight. I hope these updates were helpful. Please don't forget to sign up for my social media if you would like to have more updates and participate in our lives. I wish for everybody to have safe, healthy, and happy as much as it possible weekend. And I hope to see you soon.